And overall for you, since Rio and winning bronze in 2016, how have you progressed to be able to get to gold?
Yeah, so in 2016, I believed that I could have been the gold medalist, and obviously it didn't happen. And looking back on it, I don't think I was prepared to win a gold medal. It takes a lot to actually get to that point, but I learned a lot of lessons, and I think that's probably the best thing that could have happened to me to get to this point. I think a lot of athletes fight their whole careers to be able to get onto the podium, and I was lucky enough to experience that in 2016. So I knew coming into these games, I had that experience, and the only thing that mattered to me was winning this gold medal, and came out here and I just competed as hard as I could. And luckily enough, I was able to get the result that I was looking for. And it's just a testament to my coaches and my family, my friends, all the people that supported me and helped me get to this point. And it was just a really awesome experience over the last 2 days. I think it was the least stressful decathlon that I've ever done.
And how does your life change now that you've won gold?
Less sleep so far. That's the only thing that I've noticed. Yeah, I don't know how much is going to change right now. I'm still in the village here, but all I know is that I can't wait to get back home and see all the people that helped me get to this point. Yeah, I think it's just a really special moment. I was telling the media and all the people that I've done interviews with, it's really crazy to think that so many people have supported me and given up so much time and effort to make these dreams that I have had over the last 48 hours a possibility. And it's one of those things that I'm extremely grateful for. And I'm doing my best to kind of say thanks for that.
And one more from me for now. You had a son.
We'll give some others a chance. I had a question there, Justin. That's 3 from you. So I see a Nick. You have your hand up. Maybe just introduce yourself and which outlet you're from.
Hey, Damian. Congrats. It's Nick Paparella from CTV London.
Yeah, I know that voice.
There you go. All right, brother. So, hey, tell us what is it going to be like? What are you imagining that it's going to be like once you return home with Jen there, baby Theo, everybody, mom, dad, mom, and everybody else?
It's going to be special, just being from London and following us. You know how hard all those people have worked and how dedicated they have been to kind of get me to this point. And it'll just be really special to go home and to hug them and to let them hold this medal and know that it's theirs just as much as it is mine. They worked just as hard as I did. And it's really cool. It shows that the lessons that my mom told me when I was younger, that you can do anything you set your mind to are true. And it's something that Jen and I will kind of instill in Theo's life. And we're just really excited to see what kind of things he takes up in his life. And we'll do whatever we can to make that a possibility. So it's really cool. Family is really important to me. And I'm glad I'm going to be able to share this with them.
And Damian, just to follow up, your training facilities weren't the most pristine. Farquharson Arena, the old Farquharson Arena in London. But I mean, that's where really you and your coaches did all your work in preparation for this.
Yeah, it's looking back, it was serviceable. It was something that was required because things were closed down. But there was a lot of downtimes, I remember having some conversations with Gar and Dennis, my coaches, and just telling them that, I didn't think that you can win a gold medal like this. I don't think it's conducive to high performance. And I see my competitors training and competing all around the world. And I just looked at us training in a 40 by 20 meter hockey rink in Canada with not all the facilities, not able to do javelin and all these different events. But luckily for me, I kind of leaned on my coaches and trusted them and worked hard throughout the season. And it turns out that you can win gold medals like that. And it's not necessarily the facilities, but it's the people and the mindset around it. So luckily for me, I had great people and I trusted them, and here we are now.
All the best, and we'll see you when you get home, brother.
Sounds good.
Okay, Melissa Couto.
Hi, Damian. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm just kind of curious about your, routine in between events over those 2 days when you're competing. When do you eat? What do you eat? How do you kind of relax in between the events? Kind of just a general, what's going on for you at those moments?
Yeah, it's really tricky. So the games here, they're like the hottest games of all time. And it was the hottest that I've ever had to do decathlon in. So my coaches and my physiotherapists from London, Dave Zalipka and Garlation, they're just running around nonstop, refilling ice vests and bringing water and bringing food and all that kind of stuff. So that was extremely important over the 2 days. But the way that the decathlon works with the Olympic schedule is we start off with the 100 meters, and then we have like half an hour break. We go out and we do the long jump, and then we have another half an hour, do the shot put, and then we have like a huge 6-hour gap. So during that 6 hours, we kind of packed up, went back to the village, had a nap, ate some food, kind of just hit the reset button, and then we were able to go back to the track and kind of compete. And it was very similar on day 2, just kind of doing that and sticking with the game plan. And me and my mental coach that I work with, his name's JF Menard, we kind of came up with this like routine where when I have my 100-meter spikes on, all I am is a sprinter. And then as soon as I take those off, whether that event was good or bad, I kind of leave that result in the past and I move on to long jump. And I think compartmentalizing all these different events makes it easier to get over if something didn't go your way. And even if it did go your way, it allows you to kind of reset so you can focus on the next thing. And we just kind of executed and took each event one at a time. And ultimately, we got the result that we were looking for. So it was a very slow process, but a very like methodical process and something that we worked on. And I think because I was so prepared by so many people, this felt like it was the easiest decathlon that I've done and the most stress-free. And my coaches were having a good time. My family that were watching were having a good time, and I really enjoyed it. And I think that was really important. That was one of the key things for me with this decathlon is that the last 2 years have been so stressful for everybody involved that it would be a shame to come to the Olympics and not enjoy this whole experience that we've been working for. And I definitely enjoyed it. And it's something that I can't wait to go back home and to share this medal that I have around my neck with all those people.
Speaking of home, London, Ontario has produced quite a few good results at these games. Maggie McNeil, yourself, Jessie Fleming with the women's team, who actually just won gold like 2 seconds ago. What is it about your hometown that you think is contributing to this success in Tokyo?
I think it's just community. London's one of those cities that it's kind of a big city, but it also has this small town feel. And it seems like everybody knows everybody through somebody else. It's like, it's just a really cool thing. And every step of the way, if we've needed something, somebody's kind of stepped up and has helped us. And I can't really speak for everybody else in the community, but that's how it's been for me. And we've just had a lot of success, and there's a lot of great athletes in London that are at these games, but a lot of great athletes that are on the up and coming that will be at future games. And I'm sure winning medals for London and for Canada. And it's just a great city, and it's somewhere where I'm happy to call it home.
One last one for me, if I can.
Okay, well, that's 3 from you, Melissa. Howard's had his stand up for quite a while, so I'll give Howard Bailey a question here.
Congratulations, Damian. Hopefully you're not thinking about retiring, but have you started to think about legacy yet? So where do you place yourself along the other great decathletes like Bruce Jenner, Caitlin, Daley Thompson, Dan O'Brien, Ashton Eaton, and great Canadian decathlete Michael Smith, and great Canadian runners such as Bill Crothers and Bruce Kidd? Yeah,
it's one of those things where when me and my coaches kind of started out, we had like these kind of optimistic goals. We wanted to be the greatest decathlete of all time. And over time, that's become less and less important to me, the idea of being the greatest decathlete of all time. Like, of course, you want to score the highest points of all time, but that's subjective to be labeled as the greatest decathlete because people have different criteria on what that actually is. I'm happy with being in that conversation with all those guys because all the names that you listed are just great people, like guys like Ashton and Daley Thompson, Dan O'Brien. Those are guys that when I was first starting out in the sport, I watched them on YouTube and I learned so much from them. And I hope to be in a similar situation to them. So when the next guy is coming up, when the younger kids are growing up, they can watch my videos and be like, oh, I want to be like the next Damian Warner or the next, and just be in that conversation with those guys, One thing that Ashton and them always talked about is like, they're just kind of upping the game, taking steps to make it so like the progression of the decathlon can continue to improve. And that's one thing that I try to do is just try to be another step on that so other athletes can kind of continue to propel the sport where it needs to be or where it can ultimately go and kind of test like the limits of how many points you can score in the decathlon. And I'm just really happy to be in that conversation with those guys.
What types of things do you do to flush out the lactic acid between events? That's got to be a huge factor.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I have a great massage therapist, great physiotherapist, a guy named Dave Zalipka out of London. And he's been with me for a really long time and we've developed a relationship. And just he works so hard, and I think that when we're out there competing at these games, you see us athletes out there competing, and some people could watch that and think it's like an individual sport, but it's very much a team sport. I had a lot of people doing stuff behind the scenes for my whole life, but specifically for these last 2 days, working just as hard as I was on the track, and massages, ice baths, ice vest, all that kind of stuff, just to get through those 2 days. So there's a lot of work to be done.
Thanks very much.
Okay. Melissa, did you have one more?
Yes, thanks. I just wanted to know what's next. Are you sticking around for the closing ceremony? Do you have to get back home? What's next for you?
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't really thought about too much. I finished the competition late last night and got back to the village around 3:30 and got up this morning at 5:30 for some interviews. So I've kind of just been running on fumes today. We went to the track this afternoon, to get our Olympic medal, and we were watching the soccer game on the bus, and it's awesome that they're able to get the gold medal. But besides that, I don't necessarily know when my flight is home, but I'm just kind of taking it day by day and enjoying the time that I have left here in Tokyo.
Awesome, thanks.
Okay, we're getting a bit tight for time here, so maybe we'll go 2 more questions, one from Justin, one from Nick. Justin, you go first.
All right, thank you so much. Damian, what does it mean to you to win the gold medal now that you're a father? How does that change your perspective?
I think it changes things a lot. And I think, if I'm being honest, I don't think I win this medal if I'm not a father. Because I was talking about, with Nick's question earlier, he was talking about training in Farquharson Arena. And there was a lot of times where it was just really tough. And it got to the point where around March, there was just a lot of things happening. Jen was getting close to having the baby, and probably a month before that, when it was starting to get stale training in the arena and starting to think we should be doing something else. And I was just kind of really getting down. And then we had Theo, and everything kind of just changed. What I was doing on the track wasn't important. I would just show up and just do what I was required. And then it's just got to get home. I have a baby, and that was just kind of really exciting. And it just kind of gave me a little burst of energy at that point, and kind of allowed me to push through a couple months of that training. And then we finally got outside, and he was growing up so fast, and he was coming out to the practices, and I think it just made things on the track, made my life more balanced, where things on the track weren't necessarily so important, and just made things easy. I went to my competition earlier this year in May in Goatsis, and it felt like a really easy decathlon where I was just going out there and executing, and other things were not that important. And same thing with this decathlon. I just went in there, and it was kind of stress-free, just did we practiced all year round, and just thinking why didn't we just do this all along? But I think it was because of Theo and Jen and my family, and all these different things kind of came together at the same time, and made this possible.
Okay, last question for Nick. Go ahead, Nick.
Hey, Damian, spent the week with Dennis Nielsen and Dave here. I know you had Gar there, but Dennis yesterday, when I interviewed him, said you're far from done. We haven't seen the best of you yet. How do you feel about that comment, and what lies ahead for you as far as the decathlon goes?
I mean, I think it just shows the faith that they have in me, or the belief that they have in me. For those that don't know, Gar, my coach that was here at the games, and Dennis, who made that comment, they were my high school English teachers. And from there, they coached me in basketball, and coached me in track and field in high school, and now coach me to an Olympic gold medalist alongside Dave Collins and Vicky Crowley. So it's just the belief that they have in me. I mean, I just came to the games, won a gold medal, and scored 9,000 points, and he's already talking about how much higher we can score. And it's I believe that I can score much higher too, and it just shows the faith that they have in me. And I think that faith, that belief that they have, makes it so when you come into situations where you start to doubt yourself, they'll never let that become a possibility. You'll never fall down that trap. And I just have a really solid team of people that kind of lift me up and push me forward, and this medal's for them.
Thanks, bud.
All right. Well, thanks, everyone. We're going to let Damian get a little bit of that rest he hasn't had the last couple of nights. So thanks, Damian, and thanks to all who joined his media availability.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you back home.